British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning, listeners. I'm Emma Bolsner. Before we get into your 10:30 news headlines, producer Jenny Sung will share what our reporters are chasing this morning.
Good morning, folks, and thank you, Emma. So our reporters are booked and busy today. First up, we've got reporter Nate Elms, who will be getting to the bottom of why the celebration of lights was canceled indefinitely. And then next up, we've got reporter Aiden Singh, who will be figuring out why crime and break-ins during the holiday season soar. And then we've got reporter Quinlan Curry, who will be finding out why 2D animation grads are struggling to find jobs in Vancouver, where it used to be a booming industry. And then last but not least, reporter Avia Boulay will be talking to the executive director of Kidsport, and Kidsport is specifically dedicated to being something to help afford sports in BC, basically. But that's what we've got in store for y'all. Back to you, Emma.
Thanks, Jenny. Starting off with local news, Vancouver's Honda Celebration of Light has been canceled indefinitely. The announcement was made this morning, citing an increase in costs and lack of sponsors as the reason for the cancellation. The fireworks have occurred every summer at English Bay since 1992, with at least 3 or 4 shows each year. And the Vancouver Whitecaps' success are helping predict what the 2026 FIFA World Cup may look like. As Vancouver prepares for the World Cup, reporter Aiden Singh has more on the excitement.
7 World Cup matches will be played at BC Place. With that and the recent successes of the Whitecaps and Rise FC, sport management professor at Trinity Western University, Mark Slavich, is excited. He says the game has a huge opportunity to inspire new fans, but they need to capitalize on the hype.
You're going to have people within the next year that will go to a Whitecaps game for the first time ever. And so what will be their experience? Will they come away disappointed thinking, that was okay, but it wasn't great, wasn't what I was expecting? Or will they say, okay, yeah, that wasn't quite the quality of play, but man, I had a great time.
Slavich thinks the Rise have an even greater chance, as their team is still relatively new. Aiden Singh, BCIT News.
And Vancouver City Council will be discussing a plan to update certain bylaws in preparation for the FIFA World Cup tonight. A similar bylaw was put in place during the 2010 Winter Olympic Games. And in Richmond, a proposed class action lawsuit has now been filed in BC Supreme Court over the recent ruling recognizing the Cowichan tribe's title over certain lands. The lawsuit says the BC and federal governments had long-standing knowledge that unresolved Indigenous land claims threatened the security of property ownership. And in Ottawa, Prime Minister Mark Carney will be announcing aid measures for the steel and lumber sectors today. The announcement would include talks of $500 million in funding towards softwood lumber producers and continued limits on foreign steel, imports due to the U.S. trade war. The Liberal government provided a $1.25 billion support package for the lumber industry earlier this year. And U.S. Special Representative Steve Witikoff is set to visit Moscow next week. These are the latest efforts from the U.S. with talks of ending the nearly 4-year war between Russia and Ukraine. Representatives of the United States, Russia, and Ukraine held talks in the United Arab Emirates earlier this week. Meanwhile, a southern Ukrainian city came under a large Russian drone attack overnight, with at least 19 people wounded. Specific details of the U.S. peace plan proposal has not been released. And in Hong Kong, fire has been spreading rapidly through apartment buildings. According to multiple media reports, the death toll has risen to 36, with 279 still missing.
1 minute.
The cause of the fire is still unknown, but bamboo scaffolding along the buildings are thought to have been a contributor. And in entertainment news,
we have a plan. It's a bit insane.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
No idea, but I think we should find out.
the much-anticipated 5th and final season of the hit Netflix series Stranger Things debuts at 5 p.m. Pacific today. Stranger Things follows a group of friends living in a fictional U.S. town in the 1980s. The show is filled with sci-fi and horror and a parallel dimension called the Upside Down. The final episode of this series will be released on December 31st. And in weather, periods of rain this morning ending this afternoon, high 8 degrees. It looks like Friday might see a bit of sunshine. Those are your news headlines for 10:30. Thanks for tuning in and staying informed. I'm Emma Bolsner for BCIT.
It's your career, your vision, your goal. Navigate it your way. Flexible learning is designed for you. Learn a new skill or earn a degree at your own pace. BCIT, flexible learning for a complex world.